Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on in the stock market? Well, we're kind of moving sideways, right? The market's kind of stuck. It's looking for direction. It wants to know if there's going to be more artificially low interest rates. In other words, will the Fed cut rates and keep them artificially low for 16 years like it did before? If it does that, yes, the market will push higher. It wants to know how much money we're going to print. If we continue to print money into oblivion, that will send the market up higher. Nothing else really matters except those two things. You see, we talked about before, the worse the economy does, the better the stock market does. Why? Because if the economy is doing really bad, then the Fed has to cut rates and the Fed has to continue to print money. And I believe the economy is going to continue to head lower, right? And I do believe that they're going to do what's called an emergency rate cut to get those rates lower than they are. You see, we're headed into a recession, but nobody wants to acknowledge that. My opinion, we're already in a recession. We may be going into a depression. I know that Donald, he's doing a lot of stuff trying to keep his market going. He measures his presidency by how well the stock market's doing. Well, really, it's just going sideways, right? The bond market just going sideways. Bitcoin just going sideways all year, just going sideways. Where the real action is in the gold and silver market. Gold's up about 12% just this year at this pace. If continues, gold will easily double in price this year. If silver, it will double in price this year. Is that possible? Yes. Do I think that'll happen? I hope not. I hope they stop printing money. I hope they get things under control. I hope that the Fed does not lower rates back to zero. But if they do, gold and silver are going to continue to march higher because they're real wealth. You see, this artificial wealth that they're trying to create with the stock market to keep it propped up. And oh my, definitely with the real estate market. Real estate market is really stuck. And let's talk about that a little bit. The real estate market is stuck. I'm a real estate broker. I know this. Things are not moving. Lowest transactions, got to go back to 1995 when the population was about half of what it is now. A number of transactions, people are stuck. They can't get out. They can't buy a house. They can't sell a house. The days on market are going longer and longer and longer. We're over 2 months on nationwide average now. That you have to go back 5 years to find a time when it took that long to sell a house. It's taking longer and longer. Why? They kicked, well, part of it, they kicked the real estate agents out pretty much. They said, you can't advertise for a buyer broker. Okay, we won't advertise. Let's just watch those days on market stay longer and longer and longer. And you see, eventually the prices are going to come down. Only thing holding prices up is the seller delusion, right? The seller delusion effect. That's the only thing holding up the prices. The prices are going to come down if they want to sell. Eventually, someone's going to have to sell. We'll see how that plays out. But supply is exploding onto the marketplace. There's no shortage of homes. A lot of people think there's a shortage of homes. A lot of people believe that corporations are just jumping in and buying up all the homes. Let me tell you, the corporations are the ones that are dumping homes now. The investor properties are net sellers. They're not net buyers. People want to get out. Now, why do they want to get out? Home ownership is such a great thing. They want to get out of the landlording business for number one. Why? Because it's no longer profitable. They can make more money elsewhere. They can make more money just putting it in the bond market and not doing a thing. Instead, they go out, buy these houses, try to get them rented, and they realize, well, they got expenses. What's gone up on? Well, property taxes. Property taxes have almost doubled in many areas just in the last 4 years. Insurance, some areas you can't even get insurance. And if you can get insurance, it's a lot more than it was just a few short years ago. They'd send me a letter saying my insurance here in California is going to be going up 20 to 30%. I'm not going to like that when they tell me inflation's only running 3%. Why is my insurance going up 30%? Because inflation is not running at 3%. Inflation's still running close to 10%. But the problem is that these investors are having trouble trouble getting the properties rented, right? Okay, for example, one of the properties, Home Partners of America, right? They went out and they bought this house. We're going to use rough number. Let's call it $500,000, right? And they thought they could rent this property out. They had it up at 2,800, lowered it to 2,600, no takers. 2,400, no takers. They paid 500,000. All of a sudden, you know what? You can find that on the market now about $350,000. That's like, I don't know, what is that, 30-40% haircut? Now, these are investors. See, they're not attached to their homes. Now, I get the sellers out there saying, they always say the same thing. It always cracks me up. My home is worth so much more than Billy Bob. Billy Bob got out up here. I'm not selling unless I can get Billy Bob's price. Billy Bob's price is gone, right? Billy Bob, he took his money out. He went and put it in the gold market. He's made 30-40% on his money just in the last year while you're sitting there holding on. I'm holding on to my house. I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to sell. Billy Bob took his money, put it in the gold market. He's up 30-40%. And when your house comes down in nominal terms, 30-40%, that's when Billy Bob's going to be selling some of that gold and he's going to be buying another house. But right now he's just sitting tight, sitting on the beaches on vacation down in Mexico. He was spotted last week down there. Anyways, Billy Bob got out up here. You can get out close to Billy Bob's prices, but it's going to be a race to the bottom. It's going to be the death cycle. Now, why is the death cycle going to start? Well, here's the thing. All right, let's just say, for example, you live in the neighborhood where Home Partners of America bought that house at $500,000, right? All right, you were all fired up, right? Because you paid $300,000 for your house. And now it's worth $500,000 because that's the latest comp. Latest comp, $500,000. Okay, well, that's cool, right? You're making $200,000 on the house you just bought. Went from $300,000 to $500,000. Well, here's the thing. They just sold it at $350,000. That's the new comp. You're going to be lucky to get out where you got in. But Mike, I'm going to get out at $500,000 where Billy Bob got out at. And I hope you do. I hope you can. The thing is, you kind of miss that boat. You see, the investors, they're getting out. Now, what other type of investor is there that wants to desperately get out of their home? It's called the Airbnb investor. Now, these people just gone crazy, right? They decided they're going to turn all of our houses into a hotel, right? I don't know how many homes there are in California. I don't know. Let's just call it 50,000, 100,000 just in the Los Angeles area are Airbnb rentals. Really? Do we need that many homes down there? Maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe your area doesn't have any Airbnbs. How would you like to have an Airbnb right next to you where everybody comes and rents the house and they have a party there every night? I don't know. Next week you get a pedophile moving in. I don't know. Do you really want an Airbnb in your neighborhood? No, you don't. And that's why they're outlawing them in a lot of neighborhoods. That's why these people can't rent them out on a daily basis. They have to go 6-month lease minimum, maybe a year. So what are they doing? Well, they can't cash flow them because they were planning to be hotels. They were planning to rent it out day after day after day after day. And now the cities comes in and says you can't do that, right? They get reported, they get fined, a big fine. They're forced to sell, right? So anyways, they don't have to be forced to sell because they're diving onto the marketplace right now. They're trying to get out. They want to sell. They want out right now. Do you realize in America, 10% of homes, 10% of homes sit vacant all year long. What's going on? Well, people are land banking, right? I mean, people that have a lot of money, they don't want to lose it in the stock market. They feel safer putting it in the house, boarding up the house, and just leaving it there, right? That's land banking. A lot of foreign investors do that. They buy the house. They don't even move into it. They just let it sit vacant. There's vacant homes. There's no shortage of homes. Now, a lot of areas are getting smart. San Francisco places a tax on vacant homes. Now, you're going to have a higher property tax. Not that your property tax isn't high enough for already, but you're going to have a higher property tax. Now, when I was younger, see, I've been in the real estate business, oh my goodness, over 40 years. Over 40 years, I'm a long-termer, right? Okay, yes, I still sell houses. Every now and then I get to do that. Trying to retire. I hope I don't sell any this year, but something tells me I'm going to. But okay. All right. So back in the day when you'd buy a house, right? Eventually I'd get my client, they'd sell that house and they'd go buy a bigger and better house. Do you realize those days are over? They're gone. They're behind us. If you bought a house, you're stuck. You cannot buy a bigger and better house. You sell your house, you just lost your 2.8% mortgage. You're jumping up to 7%. The next house is that much higher. It doesn't make financial sense. So you stay in that starter home. Very sad. We're stuck in America, right? We're stuck. This is the most inventory that's come onto the marketplace in over 5 years. Now, all those Wall Street corporations, they're the ones dumping the home. Blackstone dumping 28,000 homes onto the marketplace. Do you realize you can go back in 2008, Blackstone was there also. They were buying up into the frenzy and then they sold them all at losses. They lost a lot of money and now it looks like they're going to lose money again, dumping 28,000 homes onto the marketplace. The investor wants out. Investors dumping homes, and when they're in your neighborhood, I know there's no investor in your neighborhood, of course not. No investor will come there. There's nothing for sale. But when they are, they have one home there. They dump it 40% off. Guess what? That's the new comp. Your home just went down by 30 to 40%. It's that simple, right? The appraiser comes out and they see that comp and they go, no, you can't sell your house unless you get it down to this. I'm telling you, here's the thing. I think this crash is going to be much worse than 2008. Now, a lot of people don't understand. The crash has already happened against real money, right? Against real money, your house is down 30, 40, 50% just in the last 4 or 5 years against real money, against gold, against silver. Your house has already come down, right? And that's why Billy Bob smiled and he got out at the top, put his money into gold and just sitting on the beach in Mexico. He'll come back in when we drop in nominal terms. But you see, here's the thing. In 2008, they never let the market play out. It came down 34%, dropped 34% in 2008, right? But then they said, hey, we're going to print so much money. We're going to blow this bubble up so big that we're going to make this last bubble look like nothing, right? And we've done that. We've extended the bubble, got it blown up bigger. But you mark my words, 34% this time, it ain't going to be anything. Why? Because they have to let it flush out. Now, don't get me wrong. They're going to try to print the money and keep the prices up. They're going to try to make it illegal to foreclose on somebody. Do you realize just in the last 4 years, there's 500,000 people not paying their mortgage, but you can't foreclose on because it's illegal. They're still in forbearance. These foreclosure problems are exacerbating the real estate market problems, right? I mean, there's 500,000 people that haven't paid in 4 years. Some of these go all the way back to 2008 where they stopped paying. They still haven't got them out of their homes. How would you like to not pay your mortgage for the next, 15 years? That'd be impressive, right? Well, this is what the United States has become. We have to flush this out. I hope that Donald looks at this and fixes the problem. The problem is you can't kick anybody out anymore. You can't evict people anymore. This is why no one wants to be a landlord, because you can't evict them. You can't kick them out. Property taxes doubled. Yes. Okay. Your insurance almost doubles if you can still find some, right? Okay. Yes. But okay. Well, now you got your tenant. Your tenant's not paying you. Well, I'll evict them. That'd be great, but they don't let you. All of a sudden, the tenant files something that says COVID or something, and he just throws the magic word out there. I can't say that word on YouTube. I got carried away there. But he throws a magic word out there that says the pandemic did me in, and he can stay there 5 years not paying rent. He can stay there 5 years not paying his mortgage. This has got to come to an end. We need the flush out. A lot of people don't. I'm telling you, nobody wants to feel the pain. Do I want houses to go down? No, I don't want houses to go down, especially not in nominal terms. I want them to stay up here so I can continue to make $60,000, $70,000 every house I sell. And then I take that money and then I put it into real money, into the gold, into the silver. I take my profits from selling these houses up here at these outrageous rates. So I don't really benefit when houses are going to drop. But I'm telling you, they're going to drop. And I'd still say about 40%. Everybody says I've been wrong. I don't think I've been wrong. I've been right compared to real money. The only thing that's keeping this up is an artificial bubble of fake money printing, right? The dollar's just losing purchasing power. You can tell that in the gold market, gold exploding higher. I pray every day that gold comes back in. I'd like to buy some more, still have some dry powder on the sideline, but this is what's going on, right? Your house is just kind of flatline, but it's not really flatline. It's losing purchasing power. But they keep printing money, and they will. They're going to print it into oblivion. So I hope they can keep them up a nominal rate so I can keep selling them so the buyers can, well, there's no buyers really though, so something's going to give. And I think it's going to be the delusion of the seller. Seller's delusion is what's going to give. It's going to fade away as the dam breaks, and the dam's going to break. And it's already starting to break in many areas. Florida, Texas, already the dam's breaking. The flood of inventory's coming on, and you just see those prices. They're dissolving right in front of your neighbor's eyes. Anyways, if you like this stuff, I'm Tall Mike. Give me the thumbs up, punch the subscribe button, get out there, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.